Hi, my name is Hayden Lackey, and I'm one of the new financial planners here at North Texas Wealth Management. While I am a native to Texas, I recently relocated back to the DFW area after living 4 years in downtown Chicago. In tow, I now have a fiance named Casey and a brand new baby girl. Her name is Lennox Rose, and she is 2 months today. Professionally, I've been in the industry for over 11 years, with a large majority of that spent as a financial planner. I hold my CRPC designation, which is a Chartered Retirement Planning Counselor. Today's topic, I'm going to focus on long-term care and where that fits into your overall financial strategy. So long-term care can be a very tricky conversation to have with our loved ones. We're starting to talk about the mortality and ultimately not only ourselves, but losing family members and those close to us. So here at North Texas Wealth Management, we pride ourselves in holistic financial planning. And a big part of that holistic approach is making sure that we cover topics like long-term care. So today I'm going to share with you a few stories where I personally could have been impacted by long-term care, including relatives and grandparents. So unfortunately at this point I have lost both of my grandpas over the last several years. And my first grandpa, who used to reside in Dumas, Texas, was diagnosed with a sickness that was progressively getting worse. So over time, we did hit that roadblock, and where we had to have that unfortunate conversation of, hey, it's time to make him comfortable and make sure that ultimately comfort is the main priority moving forward. So the doctor ultimately said, hey, we have 6 to 8 weeks more than likely, and everything else will run its course. So as we started to look into different room and board, different options of where he could stay, we came across a facility that was going to cost our family around $5,000 to $6,000 a month. So note that this was about 6 to 7 years ago in rural Texas, and it was $5,000 to $6,000. So as we admitted him to one of these facilities to make him comfortable, instead of lasting the 6 to 8 weeks, he actually lasted 6 months. So while we were very blessed to have that additional time with him, we did come out of pocket close to $30,000 to $35,000. Worth every penny in terms of making him comfortable. But we did not have any form of long-term care insurance, which means, again, that we did have to come out of pocket for that cost. So let's look to the other side of the coin. So for my other grandpa, who was in a similar situation, we hit a similar roadblock, where we did have to have a difficult conversation, again, around making him comfortable. The doctor gave a similar diagnosis in terms of, hey, you have about 6 to 8 weeks, and our goal at this point is to make him comfortable. So they gave us 6 to 8 weeks. He actually only lasted 2, unfortunately. So let's look at these 2 examples, where the first example, we were given a 6 to 8 week time frame. It turned into close to 6 months, $30,000 to $35,000 out of pocket. Had we had long-term care insurance, pretty much all of that would have been covered underneath the traditional policy. So now let's look at the other example for my other grandpa, who unfortunately only lasted 2 weeks. Had we had a long-term care policy in effect, it ultimately would have gone to waste, right? It would have been used for that 2 weeks, and then once that time had lapsed, there's no other benefit in terms of carrying that policy. So when we look at long-term care in terms of the cost of it and what the coverages look like, we have to understand how that it could impact our financial legacy, right? And we look at legacy planning. So if our goal is to leave an inheritance or to leave certain monies behind for relatives, we have to take into consideration the what ifs. What happens if I do end up needing some type of special care? How much is that going to cost? What if instead of 6 months, you lasted 6 years, right? So if we were just to run quick numbers, that 5,000 times 12, 60,000 a year, that's 60,000 a year for years, which could easily deplete monies that maybe you intended to leave to your heirs. So we have to understand the full effect of not having this conversation. And so us as financial planners and being professionals in the industry, we come across a lot of different variations of long-term care. So while it might not be appropriate for everybody that we talk to, I believe it is a conversation that we should be having with all of our clients, both current and prospective. I'd like to thank you for watching my video, and hopefully you enjoyed the videos of my colleagues as well. As you've noticed, we're going to be doing these almost on a weekly basis, so please make sure you like our videos and subscribe below. And then last, I'd like to leave you with one call to action. I encourage you to pick the appropriate time, place, setting, and have this conversation around long-term care insurance with your loved ones and with a financial professional. Let's make sure that we have a true, well-rounded financial plan established for both you and your loved ones. Thanks again.